Hello, Australian Labradoodle puppy fans. We have a litter update video for you today. In today's video, it is week 3 for the celebration litter, and just look at these crazy puppies. Look at all the interesting ways they try to access the milk bar. And you can see what this video is going to be all about. We're going to give you an update, of course, on each of the puppies, Mama Labradoodle Cayenne, and obviously we are going to talk about the fact that these puppies have moved. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles. Now, the puppies are 3 weeks old, and as you will see in the video, they are moving around, they are hearing, they are seeing, and they're becoming real dogs. So when this happens, we move them. Because as you hear me say over and over, it's most important that we do everything in sync with a dog's natural instincts. So these puppies are all walking quite nicely on all fours. They are getting a little bit more energetic, and in the whelping box, they didn't have enough room to really move about. So why is that important? Well, the reason why that's important is because the puppies need to be able to get around, have space to start to develop more and more muscle strength and muscle tone. And you can see Yellow Collar is very agile as he does some mountain doodle climbing there, trying to find a spot at the milk bar. And you'll also notice his tail is wagging. So now is when we start to see all of the puppies show us a lot more of their emotions and a lot more of their feelings. Now, this is really handy. Cayenne has just gone into the crate. You'll see we have a bed and we have a crate. Now you may wonder, well, why are we not using the donut beds that I talk about so much and tell you how wonderful they are? Well, that's because the donut beds are high-sided. That is one of their big advantages. But it's a disadvantage when you're this little because you can't climb into it yet. The advantage of those high sides is for later on when you're an older puppy and you've been weaned, and that gives you the comfort and the feeling of being close to mom and the milk bar. Whereas right now what we want is for the puppies to be very easily able to get in and out of their bed, start running around, getting exercise. Now the crate serves a few purposes. This is similar to the crate in your puppy starter kit. So right now at week 3, your puppies are already starting to work with the items in the puppy starter kit. This is why when the puppy goes home with the items in the puppy starter kit, they have a much easier time. You soothe their anxiety, you soothe their stress by surrounding them with things they're comfortable with and familiar with. So the crate is here. The puppies will not go into the crate quite yet, not on their own, but Cayenne can go in there. That way she's right next to her puppies. They know she's here, but she has a little bit of freedom away from them. Now, right now I have a blanket on top of the crate. This is actually the blanket that you get with your Van Isle Labradoodle. The pattern may change, but this is what they look like. And that's here for a couple of reasons. I may in the future put it in the crate when the puppies start going in, but for now it prevents Cayenne from jumping up here because it gives a little bit of slippiness, and so when she goes to go up there she won't be as comfortable. I don't want her quite yet getting away from her puppies. Now in a couple of days, they've only been in here for not even 24 hours. In a couple of days when they're more comfortable, then the blanket will come off, and then Cayenne can easily jump up on top of the crate here and sit and be away from the puppies so they can't nurse. Alternatively, she is actually able to jump out if she wants to completely remove herself from the puppies. So that's the reason why you see the blanket up there. So the puppies, how did they do with the move? Well, what do you think? Take a look. Now this is a really good example of how gradual exposure to external stimuli creates calm, well-adjusted, confident puppies. Everybody in their application or their emails to me always asks for a calm puppy. Well, puppies, of course, are naturally busy. But to start to develop a calm puppy, we need to have had their lives calm right from the get-go. And that's why we introduce all the external stimuli in a very gradual manner. And now that we have them in the Doodle den right now, you'll hear the only thing you can hear in the background, if you can hear anything, is the other litter, who is a couple of weeks or actually a month older than they are. So you can hear them playing in the background. You can hear some thunking as they use the toys that they have in there. Those are very, very inobtrusive sounds for the puppies. We do not have the football game blaring. We do not have music on. We won't have anything like that for the first couple of days. Then we'll start to gradually introduce them to sounds on a low key. They do, however, see all of the adult dogs coming and going. The door opens and closes. The door will be opened for periods of time so they can hear what's going on in the kitchen. They can hear the laundry room sounds, but all gradually and in a way that's comfortable for them. If we see any of them becoming frightened by this, we'll back it off to the point where they're comfortable and then gradually reintroduce it at a slower rate. So they are very happy in their new home. Blue Collar seems to particularly like this little bumper on the bed as a place to rest his heavy head. It's kind of funny. These are the sorts of things that we make note of for our assessments. How did each puppy adapt to the move to the Doodle den? How do they like to sleep? Because sleeping style tells us a bit about the puppies too. Are they always cuddled up? Do they sleep on their own? What is their actual personality that they're starting to show us? And if you look over here, you'll see that there are some toys now in with them. Now these toys are not here with the expectation that they're going to be interacting with them. Mr. Teddy Bear here, who he is quite worn out. We need to do a little trim on his nose here. He's been around since 2018, as you can see from his scarf. So you can imagine how many litters he's welcomed, how many times he's been in the washer and dryer, but he's still in really good shape. So Mr. Teddy is here just as a presence for the puppies to see, so that they have a very slow, gradual, calm way of noticing there are other beings in the world. He's larger than they are, but he's of course not intimidating. He doesn't make any sounds. He has no squeakers. He has no crinkle. He's just soft. And so he's just going to sit over here in the background and not be in their face yet. After a day or two, I'll move him over into the bed area. He'll end up being up here. We'll prop him up here so that they are getting used to having something strange in their sleeping area. Now this other big guy here, he does make a sound. Very, very subtle. And it's not one that happens unless he really moves. Mr. Alligator has also been around for a very long time. He has beautifully different textures on him. Very soft here, a little bit of a very textured here, again soft here. Bits that they can actually pull on if they are starting to teethe. These are also really good for when they're starting to teethe. But mostly his function right now is to just be present, just in a larger form, a different color, for the puppies just to be accustomed to having something strange with them. And then little Easter carrot here, he has a squeak, but you have to press quite hard for his squeaker to work. Very soft ears, they do crinkle, but you do have to move them quite a bit to get something to happen. A little cotton tail that has a little bit of a different texture, and the same with his bow tie, has a little bit of a different texture. This is the toy that the puppies will probably interact with first. They'll probably run over Teddy, they'll run over Mr. Alligator. But this is, uh-oh, Blue had a crash, he just fell out of the bed. So now, see, perfectly fine with that. He's not upset that he fell out of the bed. He's not crying. He doesn't need his mom. He just rights himself and goes, oh, well, okay. Is it worth the effort of getting back in, or should I just stay here and rest my head again? Right, buddy? Hi, there's a boy. That's what we like to see. A really easy and fast recovery from an unexpected incident. That is what socialization is all about. Back to the toy. This toy is probably the one the puppies will actually do something with once their teeth come in a little bit more and they're looking for something to chew on. You can see that Mr. Carrot is not too much bigger than Mr. Blue, who is the smallest puppy in this group. So he's not intimidating, and it will be easy for them to move him around with their paws, and he's thin enough here so it's easy for them to get a hold of this. So now this is all really important because toys, we think of toys as being something we give to our children to play with. It's a gift. It's something that's fun. And yeah, puppies' toys should also be fun, but puppies' toys play a very key role in their development. And it's critical that you have the right toys at the right time. If we were to put in a hard rope toy right now, that would be just frustrating and annoying to the puppies. They couldn't possibly get their small mouths around it. They couldn't possibly get the satisfaction of chewing that they need from teething if they're in a toy that's too hard for them to get their teeth into. Teething is an uncomfortable process. If you have children, you know that teething is not a fun time. Fortunately for puppies, there's not as much drool involved, but it's still painful when you're cutting teeth. That can make the puppies frustrated. It can make them annoyed. It can make them just be like, oh, I just need to get these teeth through and get something in my mouth. So that's why it's really key that when you're developing those teeth, that you have things that they can actually work at and go, oh, thank heavens, my teething pain is being soothed. As they get older, we're going to do that with bones and with chews. Same as with the toys. We don't want to have Mr. Elephant, who you will meet later in here. His ears flop, he sings and he talks. We don't want that now because that would be far too much for the puppies, and it would make them associate having changed to a different location with something negative. This is their first time going from one location to another, which obviously they're going to do multiple times with you, and so we want this to be extraordinarily positive for them. Now finally, you'll see they have pee pads everywhere, and you'll see there's some bricks around. Well, we don't normally have bricks on them at this point. However, Mama Cayenne likes to rearrange her house according to her decorating style. So that means she pulls all the pee pads up. Underneath the pee pads is a carpet and several layers of towels to protect the puppy so that the floor is not cold on them when they're sitting on it. So what we do instead then is we put the bricks on the pee pads so that Cayenne can't give us her own personal decorating style. That keeps the pee pads in place. And we have the pee pads everywhere because this is our puppy's first exposure to where to go to the bathroom. They have a bed. Oops, sorry there, Red. Almost hit you on the head. They have their bed where they will not go to the bathroom. Right now, they're only going to go as far as Mr. Blue Collar is probably to pee. Later, you'll see there's a pee spot far over there outside of the crate. So I suspect Cayenne must have been in the crate. The puppies were milling about over there looking for her, and then somebody peed. But the key there is they didn't pee in the crate. They don't pee in their bed. So we want to make sure that where they do pee is where the pee pad is, because now we're going to start working towards eliminating so many pee pads, putting them in a specific location so your puppy learns A, this is a different texture, this is what I pee on. B, there is a specific spot that I pee. I don't pee just wherever I feel like. That's a long process. You will continue it once you get your puppy home, but that's how we get your puppy started for it. So now that everybody's conked out and they've finished nursing, let's do a check of their weights and let's just take a peek and see how much they've changed over the last week. So first we have Mint Color. Mint Color is the biggest puppy in the litter, and you can just see looking at them, obviously he's the biggest and Blue is the smallest. There's no doubt here, your eyes can show you what the difference is. So there's quite a range in size in this litter at this point in time. This guy is very sturdy, and we'll just pick him up. And now I still let him know that I'm going to pick him up, but I don't do as much preparation as I did when he was an infant. And again, this is so that he starts to become less startled when things happen. And you can see I'm starting to get some eye contact from him. He's looking to me and going, oh yeah, hi, I know who you are. So Mr. Mint Collar Boy is 1.28 kilograms. He's a nice, solid puppy, beautiful. He's going to be very similar to his Papa Jack. Whoops, go this way, buddy. There you go. No backflips, please. Next, we go from the biggest to the smallest to little Blue Collar Boy there, who has that heavy head. And we'll just give him a little pet so he knows that we're coming. Pick him up, support him, bring him up and say, hey bud, how's it going? Hi. Hi. Beautiful eye contact from this puppy. I always get strong eye contact from him, and so many kisses. Mr. Sweetie Pie is 940 grams. Oh, hello Cayenne. Are you coming to see what Mom's doing with all your babies? Don't worry, I'm not hurting them, I promise. Next we have Mr. Silver Collar, who's right here. Let's give him a little hello. Now you'll notice I said when these puppies were born that although they were sort of a beige taupey color, that they were likely to darken up and become more red like Mama Cayenne. And you can see this week that they are all darkening. Nobody's getting lighter. Mr. Blue Collar, I think, is the lightest out of everybody. Mr. Mint is also a bit lighter. But you can see in pink and in Mr. Silver here that the darkness is coming through. Thank you for those kisses. I love you too. Mr. Silver is a 1.12 kilograms. Now we go to our one and only girl, Miss Pink Collar. And you can see she's already very close to Cayenne's color. Now one thing we do as breeders when we're looking to see what's going to happen to their coat, and oftentimes even though we think we know, it's really a little bit of a guess, but we push their fur back. And if the fur at the root is lighter, then we know for sure they're going to lighten. If it's darker, they're going to darken. If it's the same as Pink Collar's is, well, it's anybody's guess. And who really cares? What's inside is what matters the most. But it's always fun to talk about colors and patterns and what's going on with our babies. Hello, my sweet girl. This little girl is very alert. She's curious. You'll see she fiddles around a bit more in my hand. She doesn't settle quite as much as the boys do yet. And that may be part of her personality, or that may just be where she's at now. So what I'm doing here is trying to get her to feel comfortable in my hand, but she's not really having any of that. So I'm just going to let her go on my lap and tell you that Pink Collar Girl is 1.1 kilograms. So when we have a puppy fussing like that, we don't want to force them into anything, because we always, again, want them to associate us with something good. So we try, didn't work, now we find where she's comfortable, she's relaxed, and that's how we end our interaction with her and let her go back to her cozy bed. This bed is, I don't know how old, I don't know how many times it's been washed, and it is always the puppy's favorite bed. I think it's just the way the fur probably mimics Mom. Next is Yellow Collar Boy. Yellow and red are our two caramel party boys, and these boys are parties, yes, obviously. They are caramel because they have brown leathers. Hello, how are you, handsome? Mr. Yellow Boy is going to show you his beautiful big mouth and how he doesn't have any teeth in it yet. And he is 1.08 kilograms. He's a very kissy boy too. And also you'll be so tired I can hardly hold my head up. Can I lean on you, Mommy? There we go. Big yawn. We put you back to bed, buddy. Then his partner, Red Collar, is next. Red collar is exactly the same as him in terms of color and pattern, but red collar is a little bit bigger than yellow. Red is 1.17 kilograms. Something stuck on your foot there. We have clipped the puppy's claws. We'll talk about clipping claws in another video, but they do all have their claws clipped regularly. And he's looking a little bit dozy there too. And you can see that Mr. Red Collar doesn't give me quite as much eye contact, but once I change the tone of my voice, it's just that little lilt, then we get the face and we get the look. Tone of voice is also really key, so I'll tell you more about that in the coming weeks. And then finally we have Purple Collar over here. Hey, sleepyhead, Purple Collar. Here we go, honey. Is another one of the smaller puppies. Hi, bud. Hi. Oh, it's a big kiss. Lots of nice eye contact right away. And purple is 990 grams. So purple and blue are the only two puppies who haven't made the 1 kilogram mark, but they're going to be doing that, I would say, this week. Now, when we moved them, of course, we waited until everyone can hear. So I'm talking to them all because they all can hear me. I talk to them all the time anyways, but all of them have their ears open now. They can all hear what's going on, and that's why what is important about the sound being muffled and baffled is so important for the first little bit while they move here. So that's our video update for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you find the information in our videos interesting. To help us out, I'd really appreciate it if you could post in the comments, even if you just say thank you or like the video or ask a question if you have one. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions you may have on any type of puppy. I'm always happy to help, although mostly I know about Australian Labradoodles. And if you don't have time for a comment, a thumbs up is always helpful as well. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again next week for our week 4 update, when we'll see puppies moving around a lot more and we may hear those very first growls and barks.